give an update on the streaming setup. And this is actually gonna go up on YouTube. And as YouTube can probably tell, compared to my previous updates, it's actually be done with real hardware that isn't my phone glued to a window. All right, so we're able to do streams again. I'd say that's pretty safe to say we can do streams again. We were worried we weren't gonna have the bot. The restoration of the bot actually went extremely well. I'm actually really surprised. That being said, someone in my chat, I want to say Lich, gave the recommendation of another project that's led by Ankbot. After restoration is finished, I will consider looking at that. What happened? Yeah, so what happened? Let me actually get into the details of it and why I'm able to recover some stuff and why I'm not able to recover other stuff. So the SSD in the previous system is failing. It has not failed yet. The drive still works, but it is reading and writing garbage randomly. In fact, based on previous behavior, it's probably safe to say this PC has actually been in the process of failing for the past year. When we go back to all the oddball stuff that that's been going on, like just randomly, oh, all my sound settings gone. Weird, there must have been a Windows update. I didn't see a Windows update, but that's clearly what was done. Oh, good old Windows. Oh, my entire database of giveaway keys is gone. Man, Open Office, you crazy dingus, you completely got rid of all of my stuffs. Man, that's crazy. Oh, them USB drivers are on the fritz again. Oh, this motherboard's starting to die. I think this PC is starting to meet its end. Oh, core Windows files are missing, and I can't fire up things like Sony Vegas anymore. It's time to move to a different system. No, it's been the SSD. It's been the SSD this entire blasted time, and it's been the entire time, probably for over a year, that it's just intermittent garbage being read and written, and it's very infrequent when it happens. But when it happens, oh man, that's it. So, because I thought the motherboard was dying because of the USB errors, so what you're hearing is that you'll be using RAID 1 from now on. What's the point of RAID 1? Ah, excellent. Now I get to write corrupted data to 2 drives instead of 1. What is going to be happening is, first off, let me go over what I'm doing right now. Because I thought the system was, yeah, RAID 0, so it'll fail faster. Brilliant. What I'm running right now is... What I'm running right now is we were using a Z440. I found on the cheap a Z840, which is 2 tiers higher and is a dual socket board. I moved into that thinking the motherboard was dying on the other one because the USB controller seemed weird. Now I suspect it's just the drivers for it. It explains everything. But regardless, I then tried to image the old drive onto a new drive. That, of course, failed because, of course, you tell an imaging software to read an entire SSD perfectly, and then another SSD to write it perfectly. Well, if there's any errors on there, guess what? You are f***ed. Well, guess what? 3 images later, yeah, none of them worked. None of them. Every single one of them was corrupted, which is what started leading me towards thinking that's the controller on the SSD. In fact, it was regret the van after I described everything. It's just like, dude, it's the controller on the SSD. It's dying. And it's just like, fuck, you're right. So there's a new 1 terabyte drive in the Z840 that I moved into. It also does mean we've upgraded cores. We're going from 8 Xeon cores to 24. Okay, right now it's 12 because that's what it had in it at 3 gigahertz each. There's another CPU on the way. Oh, actually, the CPU's here. I'm just waiting on the heatsink. So it'll be 24 cores of I don't need you anymore, NVIDIA, to encode my stream. Hey man, when you have problems getting quality on a stream, the correct answer is throw more cores at the problem. Take the old AMD approach to this. More cores! Actually, it's current AMD approach too. It's just that the cores actually work well. More cores! Exactly. Proper X264 encoding. We're going to be on that. Now, what isn't working? As some of you noticed, the fonts are not transferring off the old drive. And I don't know what 8-bit font I was using for the banners. The little things that show what song are playing. Right now, I think it's defaulting like Arial or something like that. What are you gonna do? So I'll have to find a new 8-bit font. It is what it is. The other problem, and this is actually one that is infuriating me right now, is involving the podcasting. Normally, for those who don't know, what I normally do for the podcast is that we have two, what's the right word for it? There's 2 channels basically in OBS. Like a bunch of other people do like multiple channels and whatnot. I only have 1 channel feeding to OBS right now because all the mixing is done on an external mixer, specifically my Go XLR. There's a few other bits of finagling here and there, but you know, details. For the podcast, I use 2. One is a virtual channel. The other is actually the channel that I use specifically for the chat mic. And by doing this, it auto ducks. I'm having a hard time finding the virtual channel software I used to use. So, because I can't find the software I'm used to, I'm going to, well, someone just went ahead and just mentioned it. I'm using Voicemeeter. I'm trying to learn Voicemeeter, and in my very frustrated state of trying to migrate out of a, can you imagine, I want you to imagine for a moment. Imagine you're moving out of an apartment that is rotting, but you let it go for a year, and now you're just like, oh, I need to get out of here. And you're now in the stressful process of moving out of a rotting home into a new one. Yeah, that's been this last week. It has been very stressful. Don't listen to Nightbot when he's talking. So that's kind of where we stand right now. I'm still unable to podcast right now. Do I get any extra cash from the podcast? Right now, no. Right now, no. Currently there is no way for me to monetize the podcast because I can no longer do ads and they don't have their system up where there's just automated ads. The only way to go ahead and monetize the podcast right now is either direct listener support or subscriptions, and I already do that on Twitch. So basically, the only reason to do a podcast right now is, in fact, to just kind of build the audience of the podcast and get attention of third-party ad sponsorships and whatnot. Now, of course, there is the, oh, you could just do like a $1 subscription thing like you used to do on the podcast. First off, that system was subpar. And second, what would I offer? I mean, if I follow the Anchor newsletter, the correct answer is, oh, just offer an ad-free version of your podcast. I'm doing that now. So I mean, I admit that's part of my motivation to, like, there's not a whole lot of motivation there to keep doing the podcast, but I mean, I know it will be there in time. So it is what it is right now. I also use the podcast, and it actually did work out fairly well to like help promote the various little streaming sponsorship opportunities I've gotten. It's just that right now it's January. Not many people want to do, not many companies want to go ahead and advertise in January. February, March, and April are another story. May it starts to dip off again, and it's just, yeah. So that's kind of the sitch right now. I also just don't know what Anchor's goal is with not offering every creator to go ahead and just put random ads on their podcast. Like, here's the funny thing. Twitch, they're trying to do everything in their power to make me run ads, and I don't want to because the platform there and the way they go ahead and award credit for running ads is awful, and the way they want you to do it is terrible for the user and makes no sense. Anchor, with a podcast, it makes total sense to go ahead and offer ads. And guess what? They won't do it. Ah! Why do I live in this weird backwards land where nothing makes sense? For crying out loud, this winter has been mostly 50 degrees with no snow. It finally got cold enough that there's literally a frickin', what, 0.5 millimeter of snow on the ground? You know what we call it here? A dusting. That's it. What is this year? I don't know. It's the Peter principle taken to an extreme. It's just, it's madness. It is absolutely madness. And then of course the support here on Twitch has been phenomenal by far, without a doubt. And I can't thank you guys all enough for, yeah, the year has just started. Welcome to 2020.3. When will I be able to leave? When will 2020 be over? And then to make matters worse, just as like two little extra bits of screw you kind of added into everything. The cylinder in this chair is broken. It will not raise, it will not lower. Part of me is tempted to try and just replace the cylinder, but every other time I've ever gotten a cylinder to then replace it in a chair, it's been just nothing good. And then the rubber on my slippers is wearing out and starting to shed. Like, why? So that's the situation right now. The big change right now is that, well, we're able to stream. We're able to stream pretty much very well. So we can actually continue with doing our regular schedule TM. So there will be a stream on Monday. There will be a stream on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be working on restoring systems, I still have to install Vegas on this system. That's probably gonna be my Tuesday project. Maybe hell is where all the snow is. Anyway, the other big thing, and I was actually really worried about this. I thought we lost the database of game codes again. Oh man, I cannot tell you how many times my heart stopped when I tried to copy it off the old SSD and then tried to read it, and it's like, cannot be read, cannot be read, cannot be read. And then finally, like the 5th time copy and pasting it, it actually read correctly. So that's the problem. I did have a backup. Remember how I said that it turned out this problem was going on for a year? The backup is corrupted. And it's not as thorough of a backup as I would like, because of course the only backup server I have to backup on is frickin' NeoRemder. You never test your backups? It never, like, you look at it, it's like, oh, it looks good. Everything looks fine. No errors, everything's fine. You read it, try to open up something, oh, it looks fine. It's just little things here and there get corrupted. It's only like a file or two, but that's all it takes for huge problems to start happening. So I mean, like, if I go into the backup and like, all right, let's see if OBS fires up. You open up OBS up, everything looks fine. GG, we win. The other thing is I also don't have a proper backup server. It's pretty much just like I'm throwing backup images on NeoRemder. Zyfreak, you do not need to have that lecture with me. The plan actually is for backups is that, and part of it actually already happened, because I actually did also find a good deal on a head server. I am going to be working on another server I've been wanting to work on for a while. It's going to be called the Tentacle server. That is actually going to be the primary backup and storage NAS for everything. Just a 1U R620 hooked up to a JBOD. And yes, the only reason why it's called Tentacle server is there's gonna be like a dozen fucking little things dangling off the back of it. It's gonna be running on TrueNAS, which I'm pretty sure is Linux based, so yes. What kind of maintenance will it require? For Tentacle server, I need to go ahead and find an anime schoolgirl and offer it to the server. No, it's gonna be disk jack. It's a freaking storage server. No, I do know what I'm doing. It's just been something I have been neglecting for a long time, because it's just been like, there's always been something more important to spend money on. Oh man. What about an IT tech cat girl? Would that work? That concludes this update. In any case, take care and all, and you know, that's pretty much where we stand right now when it comes to the system. I will be very curious to see how many of the little glitches we have right now will go away once the second Xeon is installed. And also how much I can turn down the heat and how much actual heat will I have inside this room. Because, I'll tell you what, as much as I love this new apartment, I hate that thermostat right frickin' there. When you get those two Xeons, you can turn off your heating. Exactly. Yeah. Should have been 2 epics. Get what are they up to now? 96 cores? That'd be what? 192? No, wait. Frick. How many cores would that be? Is that 192? Echo. What's 96 times 2?
96 times 2 is 192.
Yeah, see, there we go. Oh, only the 64 core epics are... Only the 64 core ones are out right now? Oh. Man. We need to hold out and get those 96 cores. When do they come out? No, honestly, this winter, this year has been like amazing. But I have been getting very annoyed because I wake up in the morning, it is like 60 degrees in this room. And here's the thing that's baffling about this thermostat. It is, unfortunately, right next to the exhaust of the 2 PCs. And actually right next to one of the spotlights. So you would think actually that while I'm running during the day, this sucker warms up so much it never turns back on. But here's the thing, overnight it never kicks on either. You know, when you have several hours of it cooling off. So when I wake up, the entire room's like 60. There's the freaking heat registers are cold to the touch. And it's just like, why? What do I have to do to appease you? I feel like I need to make a shrine around the thermostat and be like, what do you desire of me? Or maybe I need to find a way to convert my leaky AC unit into a heat pump. But it is what it is. And that is pretty much the update.